All right, so today we're going to deep dive into YouTube Shorts.
Views on YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, you want more views.
Yeah.
Everybody does.
You sent over this excerpt from Dan the Creator.
Oh, yeah.
This guy has 2 Shorts channels with over 75 million views.
Wow.
And 200,000 subscribers.
He's killing it.
So he's definitely figured something out.
Absolutely. And he boils it all down to 6 really practical tips.
Okay, so let me just hit you with the one that surprised me the most right off the bat.
Okay.
Dan says don't use hashtags in your Shorts titles.
Yeah, I had to rewind that one. I was like, hold on, what?
I know, right?
Because you see that everywhere. But
everywhere.
His reasoning makes sense. You know, your title, that's like prime real estate.
It is.
You've got to hook the viewer,
yeah.
But you also have to signal to the algorithm what your short is about.
So instead of just cramming in hashtags, he says, focus on sparking curiosity.
Yeah, make people want to click.
And he uses Mr. Beast as an example.
Oh.
Biggest YouTuber out there, and he does not use hashtags in his Shorts titles.
That's a good point.
If it's good enough for Mr. Beast.
Good enough for us.
Right. And it kind of speaks to this bigger theme I noticed running through all of Dan's advice. Like, he's not about chasing trends or quick hacks.
Yeah, he wants to understand the system.
Work with the system.
Exactly.
Don't try to outsmart the algorithm. Become its best friend.
Become its best friend. I love that. And I think that leads right into his point about the view to swipe ratio, which is all about grabbing attention in those first couple of seconds.
Yeah, you know, I've heard of that ratio, but I kind of brushed it off.
Really?
Like, okay, a good hook is important, but
it's everything.
He's saying it's make or break.
It is. Think about it this way. The algorithm is constantly judging your shorts, just like viewers are.
Okay.
So if people are swiping away in the first couple of seconds, YouTube's like, okay, this isn't holding attention. Let's not show this to as many people.
So besides just a really good hook, what are some of Dan's other tips for improving that ratio?
Well, he says that even he, with his massive following, doesn't always nail it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and actually shared a story about one of his most viral videos that initially only got 47 views because it didn't grab people right away.
Hold on, 47 views for a video that ended up going viral.
Viral, millions of views.
I gotta know how he turned that around.
Okay, so he deleted it and re-uploaded it after 48 hours.
Interesting.
And that's when it took off.
So why would that work?
You know, I think it's because the YouTube algorithm is still a little wonky, especially for shorts. It's not quite as sophisticated as TikTok or Instagram's. It's still catching up.
Okay, so a fresh upload is like a reset button.
Yeah, it gives the algorithm a second chance to look at it.
Because maybe it saw those initial swipes and was like, nope, not interesting.
Exactly. But the re-upload could trigger a fresh look, especially if you tweak that beginning to be even more eye-catching.
Okay, so you're kind of gaming the system, but in a smart way.
You are. You're playing by the rules, but you're finding those little loopholes.
Okay, I like it. So we've got a killer title. We're hooking people in this first 2 seconds. What about tags?
Okay, so this is where his 3-tier tagging system comes in.
Okay.
He describes it like a toolbox. You want it to be organized.
Efficient.
Efficient, exactly.
And so he divides tags into 3 categories.
Yes.
Post-specific, niche-specific, and broad.
You got it.
I get the general idea, but how's this different? Everyone knows you should use relevant tags.
I think it's all about the combination and how targeted each level is.
Okay.
So your post-specific tags, those are laser focused to that specific video. And then niche-specific ones zoom out a bit. They're connecting to the wider community.
Okay.
And then broad tags, think of those as casting a wide net. Anyone just scrolling through their shorts feed, For You feed.
So it's like layers of targeting,
Yeah, sure.
ensuring your short reaches the right eyes at each level.
Yes. And this is where I think a lot of people go wrong. They just throw in whatever seems relevant.
I've been guilty of that.
Yeah. And Dan emphasizes that accuracy is key.
Makes sense.
Don't stuff in random keywords hoping to game the algorithm.
It's smarter than that.
It is.
All right, so killer title. We're hooked in the first 2 seconds. Tags are on point.
What's next?
What's next? Upload frequency.
Okay.
And this is where I was really surprised. He actually advises against uploading too frequently.
Especially when you're starting out.
Especially when you're starting out. I always thought more uploads, more chances to get seen.
More is better, right?
Hey.
He says it can actually hurt your growth, especially if you're new.
Really?
You have to let each video breathe.
Breathe? What does that even mean?
If you're constantly bombarding the algorithm with content, it doesn't have time to figure out if each video is good or not.
Oh, so you're overwhelming it.
You are?
Like giving your friend a million favors at once.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to tune you out.
Okay, so give the algorithm time to assess each video and decide if it's worth showing to more people.
Decide if it's good, and it goes back to what we were saying before about working with the algorithm and not against it.
Right, so it might seem counterintuitive, but uploading less often could actually lead to better overall growth in the long run.
It's quality over quantity.
Quality over quantity, and again, I'm seeing this theme of playing the long game, understanding the system, creating content that really resonates.
Yeah, and that brings up another challenge that I think a lot of creators face, especially when they're first starting out.
What's that?
The new account blues.
Oh, tell me about it. You put your heart and soul into a short... You hit publish and crickets.
It is soul-crushing.
Why is YouTube so stingy with the views when you have a new account?
Well, Dan says it's because YouTube is extra cautious.
Oh, really?
They want to make sure that you're not a bot or a spammer.
Okay.
So they take their time before giving new channels much visibility.
So it's not even about the quality of the content. It's about proving you're a real human who's going to stick around.
Exactly.
You're in it for the long haul.
Yes. And he actually has a suggestion to get past this initial hurdle.
What's that?
He says to either use an established account or spend a few weeks interacting with content before you start posting your own shorts.
So show YouTube you're a real person, you enjoy being on the platform. Don't just show up and demand views.
Exactly. And honestly, that time while you're waiting for your channel to gain traction, it's a good opportunity to hone your shorts game.
Learn what's working.
Experiment with different styles, get a feel for the platform.
So even the new account blues can be a blessing in disguise.
Absolutely.
Time to step back, refine your strategy, and come back swinging.
You got it.
I'm sensing a theme here.
There's definitely a theme.
Dan's not just giving tactical tips, he's teaching a mindset.
He is.
Ooh, now I'm even more intrigued to hear what else he has to say. I have a feeling this deep dive is about to get even deeper. But first, let's take a quick pause to process all this amazing information. We'll be back in a flash to unpack the rest of Dan's insights.
You know, it's funny, we always hear these YouTube success stories, but we rarely get to see the behind-the-scenes struggles.
It's all about the highlight reel.
Right. But Dan actually got real about his journey.
Yeah.
He mentioned posting over 500 videos.
Wow.
And having tons of flops along the way.
That's a lot of flops.
Not exactly the glamorous image we see.
Definitely not.
But that's what makes his advice so valuable, you know?
I think so too.
He's not just some guru preaching from a pedestal.
Right.
He's been in the trenches.
He's been there.
And get this, he actually framed those failures as crucial to his success.
Really?
He said it was through those experiences that he developed his winning formula.
So it's not about avoiding failure, it's about learning from it.
Yeah, fail fast, learn faster.
Exactly, and I think that ties into another point he made about expectations. He mentioned a student who had only posted 10 videos and was already getting frustrated with the lack of results.
Yeah, he's like, hold on a second. I've posted over 500 videos.
Right, 10 is nothing.
It took me time, experimentation, and a whole lot of learning to figure things out. It's a reality check for anyone who thinks YouTube success is just throwing up some videos and watching the views roll in.
It's a lot more than that.
It's about putting in the work, refining your craft, and being patient.
Patience.
Patience.
Okay, so patience is key, but what about talent? Do you think you need like some inherent it factor to make it on YouTube?
That's a great question, and honestly, I think Dan would say that while talent certainly helps, it's not the deciding factor.
Okay.
You know, he emphasizes strategy, understanding the algorithm, constantly adapting.
So it's more about working smarter, not necessarily harder.
Yeah, but you're probably going to have to work pretty hard too.
Probably both, right?
Right, but it's about channeling that hard work in the right direction.
Okay.
And you know what I thought was really interesting was that he actually offered to review the content of anyone who's struggling with their shorts.
Really? He's just offering like free feedback.
Yeah, he mentioned in the video.
Wow.
I think it speaks volumes about his commitment to helping other creators succeed.
Absolutely. I mean, personalized feedback from someone with his level of experience could be invaluable.
Absolutely. Sometimes you just need that outside perspective.
To point out things you're not seeing?
Exactly. Identify blind spots, areas for improvement.
Like having a coach in your corner.
Yeah. Guiding you towards success.
And speaking of guidance, didn't he also mention something about teaching YouTube growth on Udemy?
Yes.
So he has a course.
He does thousands of students.
Thousands of students.
So clearly he's found a way to break down these concepts in a way that people are really responding to.
It makes me wonder, what are the things that he might go deeper into in his course that he didn't have time to cover in a YouTube video?
Oh, that's a good question.
You know?
He could go more in depth on things like audience analysis, niche selection, or even branding and monetization strategies.
All right, like the video was a great overview.
A great overview.
But there's probably layers upon layers to his approach.
Yeah, it's like he gave us the keys to the car, but the course is where you really learn to drive it like a pro.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, from those initial 6 tips to his personal journey and even his Udemy course. But let's zoom out for a second.
Okay.
What are some of the overarching themes that emerge from all this?
Well, one thing that really stands out to me is the importance of mindset.
Yes.
It's not just about learning a few tricks.
Uh-huh.
It's about adopting that growth mindset,
Yeah.
embracing challenges, and being willing to constantly learn and evolve.
Yeah, he definitely emphasized that throughout the video.
Right.
You know, seeing failure as feedback, being patient, trusting the process.
And being proactive.
Proactive, how so?
He doesn't just wait for success to come to him.
Okay.
He seeks out knowledge, he experiments, and constantly refines his approach.
So he's not just reacting to the algorithm, he's actively working with it.
He is.
Understanding its nuances.
Yes.
Finding ways to leverage it to his advantage.
It's almost like he's cracked the code of the YouTube matrix.
And he's sharing that knowledge with anyone who's willing to listen and learn.
Yep.
So it's not about luck or even talent. It's about having the right mindset, the right strategies, and the willingness to put in the work.
That's it.
Okay, so we've talked about Dan's advice, his personal journey, and even his Udemy course. But let's bring it back to our listener.
Yeah.
What does all this mean for someone who's trying to grow their own YouTube Shorts channel?
That's the key question, isn't it? How do we translate these insights into actionable steps?
Well, first and foremost, I think it's about internalizing that growth mindset Dan talks about.
Yes.
Embrace the challenges, the failures, the constant need to adapt.
Remember that success doesn't happen overnight.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Be patient, be consistent, and trust the process.
It's also about being proactive.
Yeah.
Don't just sit around waiting for views to magically appear.
Right.
Seek out knowledge, experiment with different strategies, and constantly refine your approach.
And don't be afraid. Join online communities. And even consider taking Dan's Udemy course if you're looking for more in-depth guidance.
There are so many resources available these days.
There are.
It's all about taking advantage of them and surrounding yourself with a supportive community.
And most importantly, remember to have fun.
Have fun.
Creating content should be enjoyable.
It should be.
If you're not passionate about what you're doing, it will show in your videos.
Right. Let your personality shine through.
Be authentic. Connect with your audience on a genuine level. That's what will ultimately make you stand out from the crowd.
And you know what? Even if you don't end up becoming the next Mr. Beast, the skills you learn along the way will be invaluable.
That's a great point.
Whether you're creating content for fun or for profit, these skills are transferable to so many other areas of life.
Absolutely.
It's about communication, storytelling, marketing, understanding human behavior. These are skills that will serve you well no matter what path you choose.
So true.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today, but there's one last piece of the puzzle we need to explore. Dan ended his video with a thought-provoking question.
I'm intrigued. What was it?
So he asked, how can you apply the principle of quality over quantity to other areas of your content creation or even your life in general?
Wow, that's really taking it a step further.
I know, right?
Like he's challenging us to apply this YouTube wisdom to the bigger picture.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the hustle thinking we need to be churning out content constantly.
All the time.
But Dan's reminding us that sometimes less is more.
And that true success, whether it's on YouTube or in any other field, often comes from focusing our energy on a few key things and doing them exceptionally well.
Instead of spreading ourselves thin, trying to do it all, I'm thinking about my own to-do list right now, and it's a mile long.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's time to prioritize and really focus on what matters most.
Absolutely. It's about being intentional with our time and energy, choosing quality over quantity, not just in our creative work, but in our relationships, our health, everything.
It's almost like a philosophical approach to life.
I know, right?
Dan's turning YouTube strategy into a life lesson.
And a powerful one at that.
Imagine the impact we could have if we applied this principle to everything we do.
Less clutter, more focus, deeper connection.
Okay, I'm officially inspired to declutter my life, both online and offline.
Me too.
Thanks for that, Dan, but seriously, What a great note to end this deep dive on.
I think so too.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that the lessons we learn from something as specific as YouTube Shorts can actually have much broader applications in our lives.
Yeah, it's all about connecting the dots, right? Seeing
Mm.
the patterns and applying those insights in different contexts.
Exactly. And that's what makes these deep dives so rewarding. We start with a specific topic, but we end up exploring ideas and principles that can help us grow in all areas of our lives.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a few final thoughts. First, remember that success on YouTube Shorts, like anything worthwhile, takes time, effort, and a willingness to learn and adapt.
Don't be afraid to experiment, to fail, to try again. It's all part of the process.
Second, remember that you're not alone in this journey. There's a whole community of creators out there, just like you, who are facing the same challenges, celebrating the same victories.
Connect with them, learn from them, support each other. The power of community is incredible.
And finally, never stop learning the world of YouTube, and the world in general is constantly changing. Stay curious, stay adaptable, and always be on the lookout for new insights and strategies.
And most importantly, remember to have fun along the way. Creating content should be a joyful experience, a way to express yourself, connect with others, and make a positive impact on the world.
So go out there, create amazing shorts, and never stop diving deep.